It started off Women's History Week, but our greatness was so powerful and so full that we took the entire month of March. Happy Women's History Month. Let's talk about it in the Teacher's Lounge. Every year during the month of March, we celebrate Women's History Month. Wow. Yay! Well, how did this get started? It was the Education Task Force of Sonoma County, California, the Commission on the Status of Women. That's a whole lot. They initiated Women's History Week back in 1978. Well, why did they do this? Well, because nobody was talking about the contributions that women made in history. We weren't talking about the trailblazers, the innovators, and what we call today the disruptors. Everything was silent. But President Jimmy Carter addressed the nation and designated March 2nd through the 8th as National Women's History Week. And that was back in 1980. By 1986, you had already had 14 states that designated this as Women's History Month. And now we celebrate it all over the country, recognizing the game changers in history. We are strong. Well, why is this important? Because it's time for us to honor the women who are making a contribution in Americans' history. The way President Jimmy Carter put it, too often, the women were unsung and sometimes their contribution went unnoticed. But the achievements, leadership, courage, strength, and love of the women who built America was as vital as that of the men whose names we know so well. He said that. So we celebrate this, and I'm going to give you a few tips on how you can celebrate this in the classroom. Well, number one, you can plan something in your school to honor the women in your community that have made a difference in your community, in your school. And you could do this by adding them to the school announcements. You can do this by adding them to your school newspaper. You can create some type of graphic, infographic, or something that you can use for social media to honor these women who have made a difference in your community. 2, you can invite a guest speaker into your classroom or your Zoom meeting. If you do your classroom, make sure you follow your school's rules as far as social distancing and keeping it safe. But invite them to talk about how they broke the glass ceilings and how they made a way for others. Invite them. You can do that once a week, or just one guest speaker this month. Anything will help. 3, have your school librarian have a special section or display with books and information about women who have made a difference in the United States. Definitely take your students to the library to check out some of these books. I'm gonna tell y'all something. Media specialists, they love their job. They probably planned something for Women's History Month last year for this time, right? They are planners. They love different events. And I want to just kind of put this plug in. Get connected with your media specialists. They have things planned out and they love working with classroom teachers. And you can kind of sit back and let them do their thing. So get in touch with your media specialist, your librarian, and contact her or him and find out what it is that they're doing for Women's History Month. They're going to be so excited. Another thing you can do is create a virtual scavenger hunt. Have them search for information online. It just takes 10 questions. Just 10 questions, and they can use this. This could be something that you could use as a discussion once they're done with the scavenger hunt, and have fun with it, make it interesting, and allow them to share the information. Another thing you could do, this is my number 5, have a movie watch party. Yes, PBS has a show called, well, it's a documentary called Not Done: Women Remaking America. Activists, journalists, entertainers, athletes, and politicians report from the front line of the feminist tidal wave. Now that sounds very interesting. You could definitely have a watch party with during advisement, after school, during your classroom. Definitely work out the details with your school. Get the proper permission to watch a movie like that. Contact the company. Once again, talk to your librarian about it and then set it up. It's going to be so much fun. I actually hosted a movie watch party and it was incredible. Now, it was some work to definitely get the movie. And so I had to do my research and I had to contact the proper people to get it approved. I just so happened to contact the producer of the movie. And I didn't get a response, but I'm very persistent. And so eventually the producer did contact me back and we talked about my goals and my mission with the movie. And I even invited the producer to come to my movie watch party and be a part of our panel discussion about the movie. And guess what? The producer accepted and showed up that day. So you can't get a no if you don't ask a question. So definitely do your duty and try to find out who is in charge and invite them to have a seat at your table. Another thing you can do is, this is the easiest thing, search the internet. There are already 100+ assignments and lessons and activities out there that are dedicated to women's history. So do a Google search, screen the information, make sure you read it and make sure it fits you and your class and your students, and have fun that way as well. And that way you really didn't have to do all the work. Someone did it for you. And those resources are out there, people. So make sure that you're highlighting the trailblazers. I am going to be highlighting the trailblazers in education this month. So if you follow us on my social media page, I am going to be talking about the women who have dedicated their lives to education and made a difference for us. So if you follow us, I will put that information in the show notes. You will have that information and be able to see and do some more research if you would like. It is important that we get things highlighted and show how their contribution has impacted us. The way Gloria Vanderbilt puts it, one woman's success can only help another woman's success. And I truly believe that. I know that I am here today because of the foundation that was laid for me by the women before me. I enjoy being an innovator, creator, disruptor, and a trailblazer myself. But I know it was the women who were here before me that made the path clear for me. And so I honor them and I thank them for making that way. Now, the question isn't who's going to let me. The question is, who's going to stop me? This month is about shedding the light on the women who did not allow anything to stop them from pursuing their goals, dreams, and aspirations. We've got to share their stories and we've got to create our own stories. Remember, it is history, but it is her story. The links to the website, teacher lesson plans, and my social media will be in the show notes. Stay connected. Subscribe to the channel. Definitely keep thriving, people. We'll see you next time in the Teacher's Lounge.